but Tom.
He was going on some crazy rant.
Besides
What's
that,
up?
I think Tom made the claim the other day that Shamos was intelligent.
Oh yeah, I definitely think Shamos is intelligent.
Intelligent in the sense that he's like a 101 IQ, or intelligent in the sense that like you think he's like smarter than like a decent
I would
portion?
take, if you want to bet on that, I'll take you on that bet any day, up to
That he's a
$1,000.
101 IQ? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Well, I was about to say, do you mean
I mean,
intelligent in the sense that he's
it's
smarter
just
than...
like it.
Hmm?
I would win the bet, hands down. I'd
The
win
bet
it.
on whether or not he's a 101 IQ? Yeah, I think he probably has that.
Yeah, he's definitely much higher than that.
Like a 102?
Oh my
You think?
I mean, just don't.
He's
I
good
mean,
at philosophy?
I know you guys don't like him, but I have this thing where, like, even though maybe I might not like someone, or I might have history with someone, I don't ever like flip on a dime. Like, I'm not the guy who's gonna ask out a girl I think is pretty, and then when she rejects me, I say, "Yeah, you're a dumb, ugly bitch." You know, I'm not that guy.
I'm glad you're not that guy, Tom.
I hate people who are dumb, Tom. So there's just like a 1-to-1 correlation there. Like I hate John Lee. I hate even if their personality is great. If they're dumb, I hate them. But do you think he has? Do you think he's good at philosophy, Tom?
Yeah.
By good at philosophy, he means both knows it a very good chunk and also can reason about it fairly well. And by fairly well, I don't mean relative to your community, because your community's awful. I mean relative to like the average person.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna dispute that. Definitely knows philosophy better than the average person.
And can
but that's not
reason
saying
about
much.
it.
That's not saying much.
Yeah, it's not saying much. It's a
But
pretty
here's
robot.
what's like doesn't make sense. You're gonna say like this and that, and then like there's gonna be people within your own community that are worse at philosophy than him, and then you're just gonna be committed to saying that they're like dumbasses.
No,
like,
I think
say
that part
Kelly
of being a
say Kelly
dumbass...
right here. Do you think that Shamos knows more philosophy than Jordan?
I'm not sure.
No, I think Jordan knows more philosophy than Shamos.
Yeah, this is where like you're gonna even lose like people that are inclined to believe you.
Well, so Tom, don't you think that when somebody
At
is
least
incredibly arrogant...
Jordan knows what the distinction between object language and meta language.
Yeah, but Tom, don't you agree that like part of what it means to be a dumbass in a lot of contexts just is like having such high arrogance and like overconfidence in a subject when you shouldn't have any of that? So like, suppose that Shamos really did quote unquote know more than Jordan, and suppose their reasoning abilities are the same. Suppose that was true. Shamos is like insanely overconfident to the point that it didn't even matter if he was like a better reasoner than Jordan. The fact of the matter is, I still call him a dumbass compared to like...
Well, then now you're just using a different sense of dumbass than I was on the impression.
Well, I was asking.
I don't think anybody thought you were using that impression of dumbass.
Well, no, don't you think like that's part of your concept too? Like when somebody's incredibly arrogant about something and thinks they know what they're talking about, but they don't. Like you don't think that's part of the concept? At least
that would be
sufficient in some cases.
I mean, it sounds like you're just saying that they're like a dumbass with regards to this particular bit of knowledge of where they are relative to others, but
oh my God,
that doesn't change the fact that they're not a dumbass about the philosophy subject.
Yeah, but all I'm asking is that like if you were to like call somebody a dumbass, that could be a sufficient condition. You agree with that, right?
No.
Really? You think if somebody constantly talks about things they know nothing about and think they know about it and they're incredibly arrogant, you wouldn't call that person a dumbass?
Yeah, but I don't think that.
No, but I'm asking you about your concept, not about whether or not you think Shamos does that. I'm asking you if that's sufficient.
Talked about it.
Yeah, I think you're being dishonest. I think you completely agree with me.
Yeah, well, that's...
I'm blown away as to how I'm like the topic of discussion like the last 4 or 5 days now.
Yeah, because it's funny to talk about you.
Yeah, they're getting mad at me just because I said that like you're intelligent and like they're trying to like interrogate me that
you're correct
because I don't like sign off that like you know nothing about philosophy and that you have 101 IQ. Did you hear any? How long were you here, Shamos?
Shamos, how long were you here, Shamos?
About a minute and a half.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They said you have a 101 IQ. I said we can test it, and I'll put $1,000 up any day of the week that he scores higher than a 101. And any
102
day.
exactly. That's what he said.
Fine. Dude,
Oh
put
wait,
your money where your mouth is.
are you serious? Are you
102.
serious about that? Like, I mean, is
102.
that just a joke? Because I mean,
Maybe.
I'd put my whole bankroll on that.
That's
Like,
crazy, Shamos,
I'd give
considering the
you
fact that you
odds.
won't
No,
have
no,
anything
what
in
I'm
like 2
saying is,
months.
I'd give you odds. Like, I'd say I'd give you 10 to 1. I'd give you 10
Okay.
to 1 on your money. So like,
Very
say
cool.
I'll take a Mensa issued IQ test, and if I get less than 102 or 102, then I'll 10x your money.
It's so funny. Oh my
I
god.
mean, there's no way you think that. Why do you guys get on here? Well, my whole point is this: why do you guys get on
They're
here and
just
talk a bunch
salty
of...
to the point
You
where
think
they
you have a
like.
103?
And like, imagine Darth.
Salt.
He's like, he doesn't know the difference between meta language and object language.
Well,
And
that's
They
just true.
actually said
like,
that. Yeah, they actually
Yeah.
brought
That's
that
just
up.
true.
Yeah, they brought that
But
if
up.
neither
that's
does.
actually
But neither
why
does
does that
Tom. But neither
even
does Tom.
matter?
No, it does matter.
No, but like,
It does
why does that
matter.
even matter? Like,
You go into a debate about semantics, and you don't even know the primary distinctions between the fields. So
Darth, look, I don't know the primary distinction between object and meta language over and above just some elementary description. Although I haven't sat in a room and sat on Jack's lap and listened to a lecture about it, or got Jack or Josh to coach you on it, and then come
who
in and
says
change your
Jack
view
and
3 days.
Josh coach me?
Well,
Who
listen,
says?
I'm just saying,
Little Einstreichian.
I'm just saying, like, are you going to? Is someone dumb because like they just haven't read something about philosophy, and you've been riding Jack's
No,
dick for like 3 weeks, and like,
no. I don't write
Wait.
anyone's dick here.
Look, let me
The
just
reason
before you
why
go
you're
into it, let
listen,
me
dumb.
just.
The
my whole
reason why
point is
you're
just really
dumb.
simply this: no one, just because someone doesn't know
Wait.
something
I'm
about...
just gonna mute. I'm just gonna mute the retard. The reason why you're dumb is because you speak very arrogantly about a lot of topics that you know jack shit about. Right. That's why
Oh,
you're dumb.
so did I come off like I was an expert on object and meta languages? Because that's not how that went down. I don't act like I'm an expert in all types of shit. And in fact, I don't put on those types of
Actually,
airs
your
and haven't for a very long time.
actually your rhetoric and just like the way you like barge into conversations and the way you derail even like
Okay, so
debates
you caught feelings. That's all you need to say.
it implies that you just really you're very confident of what you're going to say, even overtly confident in what you're going to
Yeah,
say.
it sounds like you caught feelings because I didn't come in there acting like I knew all about object meta language. I didn't come in there dropping a bunch of jargon like you did. I didn't run away and ask Josh to give me a whole different description of a way I could come in and answer it the next day. I didn't do any of that shit. I didn't hold a big seance with your little, all your buddies and all this shit. And I don't pretend like I know a bunch about that. But look, just because someone hasn't read something about philosophy that either
You haven't
you've
read
touched
anything.
base... I have read some stuff, and if you, I mean,
Prove it.
I think, yeah, I haven't read a whole lot, if that's what you're asking, but that's well known with people that talk to me. But I have read some, and I do know a little bit about philosophy. I don't pretend to be a fucking professional, but you're not gonna. I'll tell you this right now: you're not gonna school somebody just because they're ignorant on a subject, right? And that's the funny thing about
You got
people.
schooled. You got schooled because you were in that video. You were left with no objection twice, and when you brought up an objection the third time, I already addressed to you that under your view, it would just follow that all implications are vacuous, right? Which is just an insanely dumb view, right? So I just want you right now to explain to me what's wrong with my view so I could respond to it.
Look, I'm not even coming here to say anything about your view or anything like that. Look, in my opinion, what happened is you're just really terrible at explaining stuff. And then I guess from what I was told, you went off and had a discussion about it, changed what you said in that discussion, came
And
back, changed what
change
you
it.
said later. You got Josh to give you like a little coaching
Yeah,
session,
okay.
and
Okay. All right. Okay.
like,
So let me just make
so
it
so
let me just make it clear. You're not here to provide
sure.
an argument. You're just here to
Well,
like.
Keep in mind,
like
I never
bring in
had an
other
argument to
people's
begin
stuff.
with. Keep in mind, I never said like your view's false. So like right now, you're just being a little prick. You're just saying, what's the reason for my view's false? I never accused your view of being false in the fucking first place. Never once did I do that. I just said it sounds to me as if you're saying vacuous shit, right? And in the conversation, you couldn't defend it, and you ran
When
off.
did
You got
I?
on
Okay,
Josh's lap, and
when did I
you got.
never
Listen,
defend it?
let me just
When did
finish real
I ever
quick.
not
You ran off.
defend? Now you're just lying.
Listen,
Now you're just
hold
lying.
on. Stop interrupting me, because we can just hash this out if you want. You ran off. You
How
got
did I
Josh
run?
to
How did
coach you
I
through.
run off? And
Hold
how did
on,
I talk
just
to? Yeah, yeah. So you don't have anything, dude. Okay, bye bye.
all right.
Bye bye. Fucking retard.
Tom,
Yeah.
anyways,
What does he mean by vacuous?
Oh, I
Tom,
don't
can we
have an
continue our
objection. Oh,
conversation?
you ran off. Of course,
Tom.
of course, Tom. Of course, Tom, the retard, thinks that the other retard is a genius.
I never said that.
Wait, you don't think Shamos is a genius?
A genius? No.
What do you think he is?
I think he's intelligent. That's what I said.
Intelligent meaning?
That's also insane.
Yeah, anyways, do you not, yeah, I was talking about your concept of, like, being, like, a dumbass. You don't think that, like, again, if somebody is, like, super fucking confident about something that they know absolutely nothing about, and they're unaware that they know absolutely nothing about it and speak about it authoritatively, you wouldn't call that person a dumbass if, like, enough of those instances existed,
And
which they did that.
you think that's a sufficient condition?
I think, yeah, of course I think that's a sufficient condition.
Okay, so like if there's a person who knew like everything, all human knowledge, but
Oh,
like
come on.
but underestimated his knowledge of beekeeping, you would call that person a dumbass. Is that correct?
I think, yeah, I think that they'd be a dumbass in, like, that respect. Yeah, of course. Like,
That's what I
if
said,
they,
and then that's what I said, and you rejected that.
yeah, because I think you're lying about your concept. I think you would agree that Shamos is a dumbass in that respect, right?
No. I appealed to it being a dumbass with respect to one specific area of knowledge, and you rejected that. That's what you rejected. Now, because I brought up the beekeeper analogy, you are using that. That's
I think
funny.
the beekeeper analogy. I didn't say anything about beekeepers, but I think the point's just something like this. I think almost everyone's going to treat
You actually
that as
did.
a
You said
condition.
that you would call that person a dumbass with respect to their perceived knowledge of beekeeping, relative to what they actually know about beekeeping. So you did
I
speak
didn't say
about
beekeeping,
beekeepers.
but sure. Yeah, like
You didn't say
if
it.
they,
I
like,
said it, and then you said that yeah, they would be a dumbass. That's a
yeah, I agree
sufficient
with you. Yeah.
condition for you to call that person who knows all human knowledge, except for they've underestimated. And not only
Yeah,
do
if
they
they
not know jack
underestimate
shit
it
about
and they're
beekeeping,
like,
not only
yeah, I
do
think that's fine.
they not know anything about beekeeping, they could actually have quite a good knowledge of beekeeping. They could just have to underestimate themselves,
Well,
right?
it's not
And then you would
enough
call
that
that
they
person a
underestimate it.
dumbass.
It's not enough that they underestimate it. They also have to, like, talk about it incredibly authoritatively. They have to, like, think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Those in a lot of
Okay.
instances. I
No
think that's
problem.
sufficient.
Yeah, they puff their chest out about beekeeping. Yeah, and that then they're a dumbass. That's great.
Sure, maybe
Sounds like
it's
a
not, like,
ridiculous
as
notion.
strong as the other cases, but I think that's, like, sufficient in most contexts.
Sufficient to label them a dumbass. Okay, gotcha.
Like, okay, minimally, do you think that, like, Shamos is a dumbass if, like, the accusations levied against him by, like, me and Darth are correct with respect to what he does or doesn't know?
I don't know what you guys really talked about, so I mean,
Suppose
like
that there were like 100 instances of him talking on various areas of philosophy which he knew absolutely nothing about.
He knows a lot more philosophy relative to the other people in his community, though.
That could be true, but the arrogance sort of makes that irrelevant.
But arrogance can't make someone stupid, right?
Godless, they're trying to no. That's what he's saying. That is what he's saying. Godless.
I think part of what it means to be stupid for a lot of people, a lot of their concepts involves them, like, having these really big gaps between.
What do you mean
like, what
part
they're
of when you
perceived.
said that's the sufficient condition?
Yeah, it's part of their concept. It could be sufficient for it. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not part of the requirements to be a dumbass.
The sufficient condition doesn't mean it exhausts the what? What are you talking about?
It means that if they are that thing, they are sufficiently a dumbass now. Right?
Yeah.
It meets this. Yeah. So you can just have that quality and be a dumbass. Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of their concept of dumbass. Yeah.
It's not part of anything. It is the concept.
Do you think that sufficient conditions are identical? What? Like, Do you
If
think
you
that
meet the
sufficient
sufficient conditions, then they're that thing, right?
Yeah, they
Correct?
are that thing.
Right. So what other conditions are there?
I mean, maybe another condition for being a dumbass for somebody could be like,
Is
I
it
don't
also
know.
a sufficient condition?
Sure.
Oh, so now there's more than one sufficient condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay, bud.
you don't think there could be multiple sufficient conditions to fit into like
You said
some?
it's the sufficient condition.
I don't think I used the singular there.
Okay, bud.
A sufficient condition doesn't mean I don't think I used the singular there.
Okay, bud.
I mean,
Godless,
did I?
these guys said that like Shamos has a 101 IQ. I just said, look, I'll put $1,000 on it. We'll do the test, and
Yeah, maybe he has
I'll
like a
scoop it up.
102.
Well,
But like you don't think that like another like it'd
we're
be
just
sufficient?
creeping up now. I mean, like, did you not really have much confidence in your 101, or was that just bullshit? Was it that?
Well,
Was
no,
that actually?
maybe he scores one. I mean, like, and a lot
Was
of
that
times
actually?
people retake. A lot of times people retake
But,
IQ tests. They could score 5 or 10 points higher, depending if they're lucky or not.
right.
Why
So I
don't
would
you?
just
I
assume
think
that you would just take that margin of error
Yeah,
into
but Tom, you
account,
don't
right?
think? But really quick,
Perhaps
wait,
maybe
Tom,
you're
Tom, wait, Tom, wait, Tom,
perhaps
wait,
maybe you're
wait,
demonstrating.
Tom, wait. I was saying, like, listen, like, you don't think it's another sufficient condition to be a dumbass? Supposing somebody's born with like half a brain
Oh my,
or like
you're
a brain
fucking
stem.
muting him,
Yeah, because he's interrupting me.
Mark Doof.
Yeah.
I think Shamos would shred you apart. Why don't you guys? I dare you to debate him
Why would I want to do that?
to prove that he's a dumbass.
No, I think I don't need to prove that.
Are you scared?
No, I think I'm just lazy.
You have
I mean,
time to
Tom can
bitch
unmute.
fight about this shit.
Yeah. So if you were to debate Shamos and Shamos beat you, would you say that you underestimated and you were arrogant about your ability relative to Shamos's, and that would be a sufficient condition for you to be a dumbass?
I think it requires multiple instances, but maybe in that case, sure. Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it.
Why?
Let's do it.
Like, why would I do that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because you could actually back up your claim.
I don't need to back up the claim. Claim's already proven.
The claim hasn't been proven about whether you're a dumbass by talking to Shamos.
Yeah, why would I want to prove that I'm a dumbass? Suppose that's true.
Well, I don't think you would. That's the reason. See, I don't
Yeah,
think
there
you
you
want to
go. I'm
debate
rational.
Okay. Well, then you're just saying that you're rational in virtue of not wanting to debate Shamos to show that you're a dumbass. That's fantastic. Great.
Do you claim that you have the ability to beat Shamos?
Sure.
So we're supposed to believe that you have that ability and you could show everybody right now that you could beat him, but you're just too lazy to do so?
Yeah.
Right. So you in this room with these colleagues of yours who above all everything are on here to dunk. Like that's like the most sought after goal is to dunk on people. Here is a person that you hate and you've been talking about him for days, and you could dunk on him at any time, but you just choose not to. Is that correct?
I think you forget why I'm on here. So for one, I don't really care about like the dunking stuff 9 times out of 10.
Well,
And two,
that's
I'm
all you've
very
been talking
lazy.
about, dude.
Hmm?
That's all you guys been talking about. How you dunked on him.
No,
You've been talking
how
about something you
Darth
don't care
I
about?
didn't debate him. Darth did.
Well, no, he's
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
Dude,
You're talking about Darth
Mark,
dunking on him. You care about
do it.
dunks,
Mark, do
bro.
Yeah, I don't care about
Mark,
me dunking on
just do
people.
it. What do you have to lose? Just do it.
I just don't care enough.
Arianas, why would you want to put him in that position? Do you think that Marduk would win?
I'm, why wouldn't I? I mean, let's have this right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Mark, are you maybe just a grifter? Or
A
you don't know what the
grifter?
fuck you're talking about?
I think I know what I'm talking about. I just don't care.
He just doesn't care.
Yeah.
I wish you knew how transparent it was that you're being dishonest.
Why do you think I'm being dishonest? Like, you know me, I'm just like lazy.
What would you debate about?
I don't know.
You just have a free form discussion.
You could attack one of his views.
Just get him up here.
Christianity.
Yeah, Darth Arianus is all for it. What's wrong?
Moral realism.
Yeah, you
Well,
didn't have the handicap. I bet
you didn't have a
Shamos was-
problem. You called me up. You wanted me to
Yeah,
talk.
you were
and you
fun
wanted to
because
grill
you're
me.
fun to talk to. For one. Other than that, Shamos is just like insane to talk to.
I mean, I think that broadly speaking, me and you guys have a different definition of what it means to like own somebody or wreck somebody. Like, what does it matter if this kid doesn't know like what necessary and sufficient conditions for propositions are? What matters if I'm just no. What I'm saying is, what matters if I know more? All I'm saying is, what matters if he hasn't read about that? Like, does that mean he's fucking retarded? No, it doesn't. Like, what matters if I know a lot more about fucking almost every area of philosophy? What matters is, what would be impressive is if we put in the same amount of time and I knew way more, or if he put in way less time and knew equivalent amount. That's what's interesting, and it's not like you can just jump into and another thing is, what I'm trying to stress is owning somebody